Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm all things sugar and shade Sade. Hey, this is the recap, and at the moment I'm talking about Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 4. And there's been a lot going on, as per usual. In this episode, we saw Jeremiah reacting to Huda, telling him that she's a mum. We had NiC being a certified MUTT by kissing both Bella and Cierra on the same night, and neither of them know that this has happened. And we had this fourth base game, which is like a baseball inspired game, and things were getting spicy. Bella was the MVP. She really came out of her shell, which was nice to see. She had a good old time. And we have two new bombshells, one called Hannah, who's making a play for Charlie, and one called Amaya, who has her eyes set on Jeremiah. We'll see how that goes down. But before we get into it, guys, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that like button. Please do it now. Subscribe to my channel as well. And share this with like-minded people. And please leave me some comments. Let's discuss this there. Okay, let's get into it. So the episode kicks off with Jeremiah and Huda. Huda's just told him that she's a mom. And, you know, he has a few questions. He asks her, you know, like how many and stuff, and she's like just the one and everything. And in the beginning he can't even look at her, and he's just genuinely shocked by hearing the news. Huda still has tears in her eyes. She really does. She's crying, and Jeremiah says, that's a bomb that I didn't expect. Huda's obviously like, bomb, what do you mean? He's just like, no, not in a bad way. But at this point, I personally don't believe him. I think he's probably been prepped by his sisters. He's probably researched the show, and he's just like, I need to control how I react in this situation, that I can't fully say anything negative right now because it's going to come off negatively. I think he is that. He's smart enough to know that he needs to manage that very, very quickly. Huda's then saying to him like, oh, you know, that's why I said I'm a homebody. That's why I have 2 rooms. And he's like, oh, like this massive light bulb just went off. I was just like, come on, hun. You really should have been. It should have been in your at least top 3 things of what you thought it could be. No? So that was surprising. I don't know if he was acting, but he never expected it, man. He never expected it. Jeremiah says that he thought, oh, I thought it was like some sort of sex room or something because you didn't really want to talk about it. Just like, oh, this guy is so annoying. So he did ask her, like, you don't want me to tell no one? And she's like, no, don't tell anyone. He was like, all right, done. Like immediately, I've got you. Now, she does say, like, she doesn't want to tell anybody, but she says, like, obviously her daughter's a big part of her life. She wants to get to know people first and tell them afterwards. And she does say to him, if it's a deal breaker, let me know. Be honest. I do have to note here, I absolutely love her lashes. I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, but I love them. I just love it. Jeremiah says, all I can say now is how I feel. And he still likes her a lot. He asks her, how do you feel? And she says, better. Then he says, well, you know, if we actually go on to win this thing, then by that time we would have been through so much, it might not even shake me. Just like, what do you mean? So she's like, what do you mean? like your mind will change? And he's just like, no, I like you. I like you a lot. Like, so I don't think it's going to change. Bro, he was leaving that space immediately. This one, he works fast. He works fast. He's leaving that space already from the beginning. Like, my minds might change. I'm not saying it will change, but there's a slight possibility. But he's like saying that quietly, you know? Because even when she straight up asks him, like, so what do you think your mind is going to change? He was like, no, I'm messing with you. You're not. You told on yourself. You really did. And you told on yourself in terms of your game plan as well, because this guy is trying to win. Like, and the thing is, to be fair, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I don't want those people to mess with other people's feelings. Like, it is a game at the end of the day. They're playing to win $100,000. So, you know, someone's got to win. And the people who kind of see the prize money as secondary are usually the people that, you know, tend to win. He's trying to also gauge like how much she's on board with this as well, whether she's willing to do the whole kind of like sham romance type of thing to actually win. I don't think she's there yet because she's falling for him hard. In the confessionals, Jeremiah does say he's never talked to a girl who's had a child before, and he said usually logically it would be a deal breaker, but he actually likes Huda, so at the moment it's not. So we'll see. He does thank her as well for confiding in him, and he says to her like, look, we'll continue to talk about things as well. And they, you know, they kiss, so it seems like they're both on the same page. Huda in her confessional says like, look, she wants him to fall in love with her for who she is, and then also fall in love with her mum's side as well. Honestly, I would not be surprised if he left her in a heartbeat. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he will try and be classy about it, but I don't know. Love Island has a way to tend to be messy as well. But I think what they will see is that he's probably got a bit of a game plan, and they will try and thwart it at every stage. Huda just needs to brace herself because she seems to be in deep. It's only like 4 days. Like, relax. So annoying how fast she's going. So we see Bella pull NiC for a chat. So she is being bold. She's getting out of her comfort zone and talking to the guy that she likes. She doesn't really have anything to talk about. She just wanted to chat to him, you know. They talk about the game a little bit, and NiC does say like, look, you having one boyfriend, you know, it's a very, very high bar, you know. And she's like, yeah, I know it is. While they're chatting, we cut to Cierra, who's chatting with Austin and Charlie. And she just says that she absolutely hates being in this love triangle that it is. She also says that she is concerned because her and Bella are literal opposites. So Bella, you know, she has the lowest body count, for example, and Cierra has the highest. And she's just like, you know, you never know what some guys' preferences are, which is true, you know, because the thing is, NiC could be getting things from Cierra when he more wants to be in a relationship with someone like Bella. That could be his potential ideal, and right now she doesn't know. And when Bella and NiC are chatting, they're flirting. He says that he's trouble and everything. He's talking about, I peep you in your swim skirts and stuff. So they're probably flirting. And Bella does say, like, when you were snatched away from me, like, it made me realize that I actually really do like you. And at that point, that's when Cierra comes over and interrupts the conversation, and she chats to NiC. Now, that conversation with NiC, basically, she's saying, like, look, I feel uncomfortable. And he's like, oh, because other people in the villa. And she's like, well, yeah, you know. She also says, I find myself missing you throughout the day. He then starts going into protective mode. He's just like, well, I feel like we're at such an early stage. Right. And she's like, no, of course. He understands what the situation is, but at some point he's got to make a decision. If you're pursuing someone else, she wants him to do it respectfully, which I think is absolutely fair. And they're both like, okay, cool. And it's like, cool, okay. But it was a very awkward ending to the conversation. It seemed like there was like some tension there because she said this. Well, that's what it seemed like to me. In the hut, though, in her confessional, Sierra's just like, she thinks that she might like him more than he likes her, which is, you know, makes her feel on edge. And she feels a bit silly because she put all of her eggs in this one basket, and it made her like accidentally close off to everybody else in the villa, all the other boys too. NiC is just, his mind is a mess in his confessional. He's just like, his head is down, everything. He's like, fucking hell, these girls are so different. But he still really likes Bella, you know? He's in bits. He's actually in bits. You remember when Jeremiah asked Huda if he should keep, you know, her being a mother to himself? And she said, yeah. And he was just like, okay, cool, bet, I've got you. When they were getting ready for bed, Jeremiah talks to Bella and he tells Bella about, what do you call it, Huda having a kid. Bella, she was so bait. She didn't have to be bait, but she was like, oh, she told you? And he was just like, you knew? She was like, well, yeah, I did, you know? Jeremiah's just like, that's what I'm talking about. That's a problem. And then he said something else, but I didn't actually catch what he said. So let me know if you know. And Bella's just like, oh, you know, that's not a deal breaker, is it? You know, trying to find out. He was just like, as of now, I feel good. He has it in his mind. He definitely has it in his mind that he's not 100% all in. And the fact that Bella baited up the thing as well, I feel like she shouldn't have asked that or said that in that way. Like, she told you, like, asking that question, she could have just been like, oh, really? And then kind of heard what he had to say to continue to respect Huda's privacy in that sense. But anyway, that doesn't stop anything during the evening, because you can definitely hear and see Huda and Jeremiah continue to do bits in nighttime, as were NiC and Cierra. They're having a good old time. So not much was happening in the morning. Jeremiah told himself that he was handsome in the mirror. So I guess, like, you know, he's got his affirmations going on. Ace made breakfast only for Shelly this morning. So I think he's trying to at least to pretend to look in. NiC does say that Cierra is the only one that he wants to pursue at this point in time. Taylor brings a plate for Alandria upstairs, and when Huda sees this, she starts getting emotional, saying, oh, see, like, he hasn't got me one. And Taylor's like, yet, like, don't worry, it's coming. And then what happens? Jeremiah comes upstairs with a plate for her. I think Huda's just doing too much, honestly, at this point. Like, please relax. Like, you haven't even known this guy. You just told him a big secret that you've been holding in a way that could, you know, change his opinion. So you kind of need to just hold it together a little bit. Maybe I should have known for how she reacted with Landria and that back and forth, that she is a bit of an emotional wreck, it seems. Like, just calm down. Also, we see Austin and Shelly, they have a chat. Basically, Austin's like, where do you see this going? Do you think it, you know, it could be something? Shelly does this big pregnant pause, and she's just like, no, I think we should just be friends. You know, you're a good person or you're a nice person, but we think that we should just be friends. Like, there's no romantic spark or anything like that. Then Austin's like, I feel the same way. And I'm just like, we know. I'm glad you've been honest now, you know, but we knew that from the start. And so did Shelly, to be fair. Well, kinda, because she should have stood up for Charlie, but maybe she don't like Charlie either. That's that. Quick side note, the music, yeah, they are doing literal songs at the moment, because when this scene was happening, they had Baby Our Story Stops Here or something like that. It was just like so ridiculous, but they keep on doing it like it's literal like lyrics for the scene that's happening, describing the scene that's happening, you know? It's funny. Then there's a text and it's revealed that they've got a game to play. So this game is based on baseball. So there's different bases, and what the girls have to do to prep for this is actually rank the first, second, third, and fourth in order of who they like, right? Huda starts getting upset because she's like, I know everyone's going to rank Jeremiah number one and all this kind of stuff. She's like, girl, oh my God. She's too much, man. It's just really, really too much. She's just always worried about him. Like, I thought she was, I don't know, maybe she wasn't the one talking about being strong and independent and all this kind of stuff, but she is not. She's, I don't know, she's none of those things. She is pining over this man and he's just downstairs, like, relax. Gosh, he's not going anywhere, not for now anyway. So this ranking basically correlates to each of the bases. So whoever they put first was on first base, second on second, third on third, fourth on fourth. Fourth being the one where you kind of don't do a task, you just kiss. So that's probably like the most coveted position. So who you really like should be fourth base. And each of the other bases, they have these weird tasks. So like you have to dive into popcorn and you pick up a ball without using your hands or using your neck and that sort of thing. Pulling off your clothes with teeth and like sucking a popsicle between you, which I think is absolutely disgusting. Oh, so disgusting. But they have to do this. So Huda goes first. Obviously, Jeremiah is her number 4. So Huda, for hers, it's Taylor, NiC, Ace, and Jeremiah in that order. Makes sense. We know. Orlandria was NiC, Charlie, Ace, and Taylor. Orlandria was twerking. She was twerking her ass off. Honestly, she was having fun. Charlie absolutely loved it. He was like, I love America. He was at home. He felt like at home. Her and Ace sucks that popsicle. It was giving soft porn. It was a lot. Cierra had Charlie, Taylor, Austin, and NiC. She did jump on the floor and do the splits as well. She was literally doing the most for everybody, but NiC said that he absolutely loved it. He loved to show. Shelly went for Charlie. Charlie, of course, went in for a kiss because he really likes Shelly. He went in for the kiss. Taylor, she was licking his body and everything. She done her little twerk as well. Austin, when they were sucking on the popsicle, everyone started chanting, suck on it. I don't know. He's got the fourth base position and they, their kiss, they went in 10 out of 10. She said the kiss was. I can't remember. Did they show what Ace said about the kiss? I don't think they did. Then we had Bella. She, as I said, MVP. Bella came outside of her comfort zone. She's like, right, I'm going to go for it. First base was Charlie. She went in for the kiss. His head was right near her coochie and everything. She was going in. She was jumping on people. With Taylor, when she was trying to take off his clothes, she bit him by accident. Like she got too excited. It was a lot. NiC was in absolute shock in the background. He couldn't believe what was happening, especially when she was on Charlie, I think, as well. Ace was feeding her the popsicle. Again, looking very suggestive, very, very suggestive, which is, I think, the aim of the game. And then she literally jumps on NiC. She was riding him really and truly. He was feeding on her booty and everything. And in her confessional, she was just like, I want to do that again. I want to do that kiss outside of a challenge, which is, girl, we seen it. The girls were just like, we're so proud of you, Bella. She really came out of her comfort zone for sure. Bless her. Then what do we have? 2 new bombshells enter the villa. We have Anaya. She is 25 and she's from New York and she's a nurse, I believe. And then we have Hannah. She is 23 and from Arizona. This is such a hard thing to come into as a bombshell in the middle of a game, especially when, relationships have already been established. Is such a hard thing to do. So rate them 100% for this. Charlie is extremely interested straight away. And the boys are very, very excited. When Hannah, the blonde one, is doing the first task with Austin, her top comes undone and he has to help her put it back on again. So I think they were having a little bit too much fun in that moment. She has Jeremiah as number 2 and she was enjoying herself. Huda was not happy. Absolutely was not happy. She was fuming, absolutely fuming. Charlie, when she done, that was base 3. Charlie was in his absolute element. He was just like, yes, this is me. She had NiC for 4th base and she licked him from his stomach to his neck and Wow, she went in. The guys were very excited, jumping up and down, hollering, hooting, all of that stuff. They were doing the most. Then it was Amaya's turn. Amaya had Charlie at first base, NiC second, Ace at third, and Jeremiah at fourth. Huda was sick with jealousy, sick with envy. She was absolutely sick. She was not clapping. In her confessionals, her face was like a slapped ass. She was fuming, absolutely fuming. She said this is the dumbest shit she could have ever done. People were trying to cover Huda's eyes. She weren't having it. She wanted to see what Jeremiah's reaction was. So Jeremiah didn't, this time, he didn't do like, oh, kiss me on my cheek or anything like that. He went in. He went in on the kiss. He was reciprocal. He was having it. He was trying not to let his hand move everywhere, but he was involved in that, you know? And Ace is jumping up and down. He was shouting it out. Like, he was so excited. And I think he's just trying to break up Huda and Jeremiah. He's trying to break them up. So he was over exaggerating. Him and Austin were going in on that for some reason. It was just very, very juvenile. Huda, even at one point, she done 2 middle fingers. She done two. Hilarious. She was in her feelings. Oh my God. How can you be that insecure though, bro? Because if he likes you, then what's the issue? Stop. Oh my God. And why act so bothered? Why are you allowing him to see you act so bothered? So after the game, the boys are chatting, the girls are chatting. The boys are basically saying like who actually went in, and they all agree that Bella definitely went outside of her comfort zone, and she really gets props for doing that as well. They're talking to the Bombshells. I think Hannah asks who's kind of like closed off at the moment. Jeremiah does say like, oh, he's not closed off, but he's very into Huda. He's still open, but if there was something, he would do it respectfully or something to that effect, he did say. But he didn't absolutely say he was closed off, although that's how it was interpreted later. He didn't actually say that, you know? Or maybe I heard wrong. Let me know. Huda, while talking to the girls, she says she is not mad at Jeremy. Sorry, I keep calling him Jeremy. His name is Jeremiah. She's not mad at Jeremiah, but she said, but that bitch is messy. Wow, bitch already. So to be fair, Americans use bitch very casually. So, but I think she meant it in a mean way this time. So, what? Like, I just thought, this is extreme. It's literally the game. She has to pick who she likes. Everyone's there for the same reasons. Like, calm down. Shelley tries to be devil's advocate, and she's saying like it's early days, like we're all still exploring, like you keep saying you're open, and then Huda starts to cry. She starts crying now, and I just thought this girl is going to be annoying because any little thing you're crying. She then kind of like, because it's all the girls talking, she then lets Cierra know that she's a mum and that she only told Jeremiah yesterday that was the case. And she says, you know, Cierra, because you're like one of our sisters now. And I was thinking, I'm not sure Bella sees her as a sister, but okay, cool. But I feel like, are they all your sisters as well, Huda, because no one chose Jeremiah? Is that why they're your sisters? Like, bro. But yeah, she does say that seeing someone kiss Jeremiah, she hated it. She absolutely hated it. So the Bombshells come and chat to the girls. So Hannah does say that everyone says they're open but Jeremiah. Amaya in the hut does say, though, that he's a grown man and she is not getting the vibes that he's closed off at all. And I believe her. Like, I don't know if he will completely jump ship. Like, I think he'll weigh up his options to see what will work better on how it's going to come across and how it's going to make him look if he leaves someone who is a mum. But I think what he will do is he'll spin the fact that she didn't tell him in the first place to his advantage. So he'll kind of plant the seeds of like, you weren't honest with me, you're not trustworthy, should we even be together, while he tries to make other connections, maybe with Amaya. That's what I think is going to happen. So then the boys are still chatting again, and NiC just starts doing math with how much he is torn between Cierra and Bella. NiC, first of all, said that he wanted to be the first one to kiss Bella. And he does say this in front of Charlie. So he was a bit upset by that. Then he was just like, oh, so when, in the beginning, it was 60-40 to Cierra. Sorry. When he saw her kiss Charlie, it then went to 70-30 to Cierra. But then when Bella picked him for fourth and kissed him, then it went to 50-50. It's just like, what the fuck, NiC? These NiCs are so annoying. He's just going to end up playing these two girls. And yeah, I don't even know which one would stick with him. But anyway, they start getting ready for the night. And Amaya makes it clear to Huda that she is going to be talking to Jeremiah. And yeah. I don't think Huda liked it that much. Huda has a conversation with Shelly and she basically just goes in on Amaya. She was just like, I think that she's messy as fuck. Like, I don't like her. She just kept on saying, I don't like her. I don't like her. She doesn't think she's a nice person. And, I don't fuck with that. Like, she's a beautiful girl, but so what? Like, Shelly is understanding to her. Shelly is just like, I get where you're coming from and you don't have to like her at all. But she just doesn't like her because the girl is interested in Jeremiah. That's the only reason. It's just like, to have such strong feelings when you're in Love Island, it's literally the premise of the game, I just think it's a bit silly and she needs to grow up a little bit, This is I think it's a bad example, even for your daughter, like to be pining over this guy, like so hating other girls because they like your man. Like, do you know what I mean? In the construct of the game, it's weird. I think it's weird. Shelly does say in her confessional, she's just like, Huda is panicking for no reason. This guy is not going anywhere. I hope she's right. I don't know if she is at this moment in time. And also with Shelly, I hope she's not going to get relegated to best friend, because it just seems like she's giving advice to a lot of people and just being the one there. It just seems a little bit odd. I think they're doing that with Olandria as well. It's just interesting. Then we don't see Amaya talking to Jeremiah, but we do see her talking to Ace. And Ace seems interested. He seems very interested. He enjoyed the kiss earlier, so did she. And then Ace asks, how's the kiss with old boy? And I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. And people let me know. But is he talking about Jeremiah? Like, I don't know, man. I just think that's odd. If he's talking about Jeremiah, then that was odd, because they'd already established in the conversation that they like the kiss between them two. Then he asks this question. So it's just like, what? Weird. Very, very weird to me. So we jump to Hannah, and Hannah is chatting with Charlie on the dock, which seems to be his favorite place. They start talking about music and stuff. He says that sometimes in the gym he listens to old school Katy Perry. And I'm just like, this guy will morph into anything to get with a girl, it seems. Because what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But okay. But it doesn't even matter, because Hannah's buying what he's selling. And in her confessional, she's just like, oh, he makes me want to Cheerio and take off my clothes. And I'm just, can you guys stop? We don't say that. we don't say that as a UK person, someone from the UK, born and raised here. We don't say that. We don't do chip cheerio. We don't do governor. Like, that is very, very, very old. Well, to be fair, she's not of the culture language. That's not what we say. We don't do that. We don't say that. You need to update your impressions. It wasn't very good either. No. I hope he corrects her as well. Because no. It was bad. Yeah. Like, she talks about her type anyway, and she describes Charlie to a T. Charlie is feeling it. And then they start talking about the kiss that they had in a challenge. He was just like, maybe we should run that back. She was just like, oh, I've forgotten how it was and everything like that. But they were flirting and it seemed to be reciprocal, and they kiss, and it seemed like they both liked each other. I think I'm gonna like Hannah. I think she's a little bit of fun and lighthearted, I think. So let's see how she gets on. So we see NiC the MUTT. That's what I'm saying. He's an absolute MUTT. NiC is in soul ties with Bella. I think it's revealed that it is, what do you call it? NiC pulled Bella for a chat. And basically he was saying that he felt some type of way when she kissed Charlie, which we know. He starts doing his percentages again, 20, 80, 20, 50, 50, all of this. Just stop. Do you like the girl? Yes or no? Like, stop it. Bella talks about how she obviously has come out of her comfort zone and it was a big deal for her to do that. But she's like a little bit innocent and she's never kissed that many people in one day before. And, NiC saying, I wanted to kiss you first. And she was just like, well, you banked on kissing me first, even though you did me dirty. And he's just like, yeah, I know, I didn't deserve it. But then she just folds and she's just like, well, I did want it to be you. And they start kissing. But this kiss is getting like passionate. They're changing positions. She's on top, they're on the side, they're embracing, hands are on bum, everything. It was a very, very passionate kiss. And then all she could say afterwards is like, you're trouble. And yeah, so she acknowledges when she's in her confessional, she's just like, I just love the way he makes me feel, but she hates the fact that he makes another girl feel exactly the same way, meaning Cierra. Then later on in the evening, we do see NiC and Cierra. They're, chatting everything, but at the same time, Orlandria is talking to Bella and Bella is telling her about the kiss. So while she's talking, she is just saying how good it was and everything like that. Orlandria is saying, it's good that NiC got the message from, the game that you can be the fun girl, but, you just needed to respect me first. And Bella's like, yeah, they might be back on. And she's like really hyped up about it. Little does she know that NiC is talking to Cierra in the speakeasy. I think even NiC does a cheers for them being in a couple for 2 days. This guy, he's a MUTT. He's an absolute MUTT. He really is. Like, he's, compliments her performance, meaning her splits and what she done. And it was just like, yeah, it's a good day. And they go to the photo booth. Again, this is like the second time, I think, at this moment. They start doing some sexy poses and everything like that. Then they start kissing. I was just like, I knew it. I knew this guy's a MUTT. Instead of him to take the time to say, you know what, yeah, just to let you know, just to give you the heads up, I'm talking to both of you, but I did have a little schmooch with Bella tonight, just so you know. But no, NiC is determined to get as much as possible, as much things as possible from as many girls as possible while he's on Love Island. So he didn't say a goddamn thing. He didn't say anything. He was just like, nah, he's trying to get some in the photo booth. So, when he's in the heart doing his confessional, he's just like, in the back of my mind, I was thinking about Bella kissing her in soul ties. Brother. MUTT. That's what I tell you. But anyway, that was the episode. I'm going to give this episode, I think I'm going to give it another 8. Like, I really enjoyed it. Apart from Huda doing the most with all her crying and everything like that. Apart from that, like, I really, really enjoyed it. But it does add to the story as well. I like these new bombshells. I think they're going to be good energy. Amaya seems to want what she wants, just for the dynamics of it, not for the emotional damage that it will do. But I want to see Jeremiah explore things with Amaya. Maybe they force them to go on dates or something like that. That could be a good idea. But yeah, it looks like we've got a recoupling coming up as well. So we have those 3 people who are vulnerable. So at the moment, the vulnerable people are still Bella, Ace, and Charlie. That still hasn't been resolved yet. So we should get a resolve in for that. That's it for me today. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Those that watch to the end, I love you the most. You know this. Thank you. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with like-minded people too. And leave me a comment. I appreciate it. I notice people ain't leaving comments. Like, please, like, do you know what I mean? Let's get into some discussions there about what's going on in this series for sure. For those that watch it, I'm doing Love Island UK reviews live from the 9th of June, and that will be on this page, Sade Salami Official. So yeah, hopefully you'll join me there too. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.